Sexual Practices in Tanzania, Unveiling the Traditions, Realities, and Taboos. Tanzania, the land of Mount Kilimanjaro and Serengeti Plains, is a nation steeped in diverse cultural identities and traditional practices. But beneath the landscapes and wildlife lies a realm rarely discussed in public. The complex, culturally rooted, and at times controversial world of sexual practices. In this episode of Africa Tribal, we lift the veil on some of the customs, beliefs, and social dynamics that shape sexual behavior across Tanzania's ethnic groups, rural communities, and urban centers. Let's begin with what is perhaps the most globally discussed, unyago. In the southern regions of Tanzania, particularly among the Zaramo, Makonde, and Yao people, unyago is a traditional initiation rite for girls transitioning into womanhood. It includes instruction on domestic responsibilities, personal hygiene, fertility, and yes, sexual education. Female elders known as kungwi lead the ceremony, which may last for days or even weeks. Here, young girls are taught how to please a man sexually. This includes specific techniques, movement practices, and even massage methods. In many communities, these practices are not considered immoral. They are viewed as essential preparation for marriage. However, unyago has drawn criticism from human rights advocates and health professionals, especially where it intersects with child marriage or early sexualization. Moving north to the Haya people of the Kagera region, we encounter a different kind of cultural sexual practice, kukatakyuno, or hip rotation. Among the Haya, women are traditionally taught how to control their pelvic muscles to enhance sexual pleasure for both partners. This is part of a wider belief that sexuality is not just physical, but spiritual and cultural. Some women undergo training to develop the skill of vaginal muscle control, a practice not unique to Tanzania, but particularly respected among the Haya. This is believed to be crucial in keeping a man sexually satisfied and loyal. But there are also traditions that provoke discomfort. Among some pastoralist communities like the Maasai, sexual practices are tied to rites of passage, including the controversial circumcision ceremonies. While male circumcision is often a social requirement, female circumcision, or female genital mutilation, FGM, still occurs in parts of Tanzania despite being outlawed. This is a deeply rooted cultural issue, with some elders claiming it purifies the girl or controls her sexual desires. However, the Tanzanian government and many NGOs are working tirelessly to eradicate this practice, raising awareness of its long-term physical and psychological consequences. In more urban areas like Dar es Salaam or Arusha, sexual practices have become a blend of tradition and modernity. The growth of social media, exposure to Western culture, and economic changes have shifted attitudes. Among the youth, premarital sex is becoming more common, and transactional relationships, where sex is exchanged for money or gifts, are increasingly reported. These dynamics are particularly visible among university students and young professionals, many of whom navigate between cultural expectations and modern desires. This tension often results in secrecy, double standards, and even social judgment. Interestingly, the conversation around sexual enhancement substances is also gaining ground. In traditional Swahili coastal communities, the use of herbs and concoctions like mira, kat, kweme, and mukorogo wa mapenzi is common. These substances are believed to boost libido or performance. Some women also use herbal steam baths known as fukuzo to prepare for intimate relationships, claiming it tightens and perfumes the body. In the fishing villages along Lake Victoria, sexual practices are sometimes driven by desperation. The term sex for fish refers to women who trade sexual favors to fishermen in exchange for the day's catch. This exploitative practice has been documented in parts of Mwanza and Mara regions, and it poses significant public health risks, especially concerning the spread of HIV/AIDS. We must also mention the evolving perceptions around same-sex relationships in Tanzania. While such relationships exist, they remain highly stigmatized and criminalized. Government crackdowns have intensified in recent years, with harsh rhetoric and legal actions against members of the LGBTQ+ community. In many cases, even suspicion of same-sex relations can lead to arrests or public shaming. These policies have pushed people underground, often leading to psychological trauma and limited access to sexual health services. Religion plays a major role in Tanzanian sexual norms. The country is almost evenly divided between Christianity and Islam, with each shaping sexual morality differently but strictly. Among Muslim communities in places like Zanzibar, modesty, marital chastity, and adherence to religious expectations guide sexual behavior. Premarital sex is condemned, and practices like nikah, Islamic marriage, are emphasized. Yet even in these areas, private sexual expectations and the use of intimacy-enhancing methods are not uncommon. They're just hidden behind closed doors. When it comes to marital intimacy, many Tanzanian women carry the burden of cultural expectations to be sexually available, pleasing, and fertile. Infertility is often blamed on women, and this can drive couples to traditional healers or herbalists. Sometimes desperate families arrange for secret affairs to test fertility, an unspoken practice in some rural areas. Though not widely admitted, it's part of the hidden sexual reality in certain communities. Then there's polygamy, which is still legally practiced in many parts of Tanzania. Among the Maasai, Sukuma, and other ethnic groups, polygamy remains a sign of wealth and status. Men may have multiple wives living in different homesteads, and sexual relationships are organized according to hierarchy and rotation. However, younger generations are questioning the value of this structure, especially women who feel sidelined emotionally and sexually. Tanzanian music, especially Bongo Flava, reflects and sometimes reshapes these sexual conversations. Artists like Diamond Platnumz, Harmonize, and Zuchu often blend sensual lyrics with dance, shaping the imagination and desires of the youth. While this has led to more openness in discussing sex, it has also brought challenges, such as increased teenage pregnancies and exposure to explicit content without proper sexual education. Speaking of education, Tanzania still struggles with providing comprehensive sexual education in schools. While abstinence is heavily emphasized, many young people remain uninformed about contraception, consent, or healthy sexual relationships. This gap often leads them to learn from peers, social media, or risky experience, a recipe for confusion and unsafe behavior. However, it's not all bleak. Numerous civil society groups and female-led organizations are rising to challenge the harmful aspects of traditional practices. From promoting consent to advocating against FGM and child marriage, Tanzanian women are stepping into roles of influence. There are also initiatives promoting positive masculinity, encouraging men to reject violence, respect consent, and embrace equal relationships. So what can we conclude? The sexual practices in Tanzania cannot be boxed into a single definition. They are wide-ranging, from sacred traditions to harmful taboos, from rural secrecy to urban experimentation. Understanding them requires both cultural sensitivity and a critical eye. As Tanzania continues to modernize, the tension between heritage and change will only intensify. The challenge will be preserving the wisdom of culture while rejecting the parts that harm human dignity. At Afric Tribal, we believe these conversations matter because behind every custom, there is a human being, hoping, loving, struggling, and searching for meaning. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe for more.